So when we see our own clients that are not top of Google, these are the things that I'm seeing. So I'm analyzing it, and no FAQs, Google reviews are not there. And so it's this trifecta. Again, if we have amazing content specifically on Instagram, all content platforms for ChatGPT, it's going to dominate with your SEO.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Raving Patients Podcast. As you know, I'm your host, Dr. Len Tao. Today's episode, I'm super excited to bring back another guest, someone who has spoken at, the only person, I should say, that's spoken at Supercharge 2 times, and Supercharge has just ended, but she's spoken twice for a reason. Her name is Anissa. She now goes by Broussard, so we'll refer to her as the way she wants to be, Anissa Broussard, and today's episode is called The New SEO Playbook, Why Social Media is No Longer Optional. Before we get into her bio, I do always want to thank my sponsors, Dental Intelligence, CallRail, and Net32 for their support. So please check them out. They allow me to come to you every single week with an episode. And we're in the middle of season 8, so it's been a long time since I've been doing these episodes. So Anissa's bio, let me read what Anissa has. So Dr. Anissa Broussard is a renowned expert in digital marketing for dentistry. She holds a fellowship with the Dental Speaking Institute and has been invited to keynote at major events including AACD, Social Media Marketing World, and Funnel Hacking Live, and we can add Supercharge to that. Her work has been featured in Dental Economics and highlighted in Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets. Dr. Broussard is also the co-founder of Digital Floss, a full-service dental marketing agency, and Dental Flix, the premier online education platform delivering top-level training for both independent and group practices. So please welcome to the Raving Patients Podcast, my friend Anissa Broussard. Anissa, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's really cool.
We go back a long time. I've spoken at 3 or 4 your events. You've spoken at a couple of my events. So obviously we both share a passion for helping dental practices. I help them with reviews. Obviously you've been helping and coaching them, but now your focus is on social media through Digital Floss. So to kind of get it out of the way, can you tell people who haven't heard of Digital Floss how Digital Floss helps dental practices, or what you do for dental practices?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I say is we help doctors get seen as their authentic selves so that people can find them and they can heal. And what does that mean? That means that we literally manage everything for them with their social media marketing, whether it is creating content, whether it's posting it on 7 different platforms, whether it's running ads to get 40,000, 50,000 views a month, whether it's generating leads at $20, $30 a lead, which is so possible. And now what's really impactful is all the work that we're doing with SEO and helping practices get seen in the AI search engines such as ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Google AI. And we're really proud because, humbly stating, we're really leading the way and helping practices to be able to get seen in these platforms. And again, it's totally doing everything for the practice so they don't have to think about it on their own.
But the focus is video and social media, correct?
Interesting. So, and I'd love to just have a little chat about that, because I think a big issue with a lot of practices is that they think about marketing as siloed, right? So they come to you and are like, oh, I need reviews, right? Just by the way, guys, like you need to have reviews and you need to be working with Len and Bird Eye, right? But people are thinking about, oh, my marketing is reviews, I'm good, right? Or, oh, I have a website, or I'm doing social media, or I'm doing Google. And I think that's the big issue. I think or a lot of doctors think about marketing as these different buckets, but the reality is that it really literally is one. And so what I'm speaking about as I'm speaking and as I'm educating and as I'm helping practices is to realize that they're really all intertwined. And so for us, what we focus on is, number one, what is that story, right? And so for all of our owners that we work with, our teams, we literally have a copywriter that takes like an hour, and we are finding out from them, what is it that they want to be known for? What are they an expert in? What is it that, why are they in that community? And then we make the content. But here's the thing, that same content that we're filming can be posted on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X, and Google, which is impactful, but the same content can be put now on a website. I say a lot of times, we don't want to build a brand that's like Neiman Marcus and your website looks like the dollar store. And so we want to make sure that when we're filming an impactful video, that now we're collaborating, because we're working right now with SMC, and we're working with DocSites, and we're working with Kobe, and we're working with Energize, like all of these practices that are building websites, right? Instead of having stock content, now we're able to say, here, take the photos, take the videos, have a funnel, right? Let's do some Google ads and lead gen, but instead of having stock content, have a video where the doctor's saying, it takes integrity. Or what if you built a practice putting the team first and you actually build a heart-centered connection? And so now you're able to actually have higher click-through rates and higher conversions on your Google ads. How do we, again, post that on Google? And so I think the heart of it is it's not even social media really. It's how do we take content and we literally build your digital footprint with it.
Got it. So, and thank you for clarifying that, because people always wonder what, or how different companies can kind of work together. One of the big things now is AI.
Yeah.
So I want to spend a few minutes talking about ChatGPT or any AI, where dentists, or patients are literally going to ChatGPT and say, find me a dentist, or who is the best dentist in Parkland, Florida, where I live. Yeah. And I'm getting a lot of people asking me how they get listed in ChatGPT's recommendations. Yeah. So can you, and obviously ChatGPT is getting their information from different places. That's how they're making that determination. Yeah. So obviously where you're posting is super important now, is one of them. But how do practices make sure that they're in that recommended list, I guess you can say, would be the question I would start off with. Yeah,
so I'll give you an example. So I did a search and I said, I want to find a dentist who's in Fort Lauderdale. Okay, I'm in Fort Lauderdale. And so it actually gave me 3 recommendations of 3 dentists in Fort Lauderdale. Now, number 1, it did not go to Google. Okay, it did not go to a Google page. And so again, when we start looking at why are Google ads getting so expensive, my thought, my belief, my very strong theory, and what I believe is that fewer people are going to Google. They're not seeing the Google ads. And so in the past, 2 years, 3 years ago, even 6 months ago, you might spend $100 or $1,000 on Google and you get X number of leads, and now you're getting Y. Because why? They're now on to these other search engines. This is really important, guys, right? So people are searching in many places, whereas 3 years ago it was just Google. But here's how it works, right? So it's sending people to 3 different websites. Now, if I get a little bit more specific, Len, and I say, I want to have a dentist who's in Fort Lauderdale, who's from New Orleans, like I'm from New Orleans, or who speaks Spanish, or is Jewish, or went to the University of Kentucky, or however people are searching now, which is how, let's just be real, that's how people are searching, okay? Then what happens is that ChatGPT AI wants to be very helpful, and it says, great. Would you like to have a female or a male? Would you like to have someone who takes a specific insurance? It is so much better of being helpful than Google is currently. Not saying that Google won't keep up or won't change or won't evolve, but this is what's happening. And so now I'll say, yeah, give me a female. Why? Because I'm a female. Now it says, great, let me go ahead and do my research. Then what happens is, first of all, it goes and it scans websites. Okay. Now, some people think, oh, it's scanning Google. I want you to understand that Google's scanning, Bing is scanning, ChatGPT is scanning, right? And so if you are doing your work, you're doing your due diligence, and you're showing up high on Google, maybe you're working with Google, with Bird Eye, right? Then you're also going to have preference on ChatGPT. But what happens is, not only does it scan websites, but then it goes to LinkedIn, and then it goes to Instagram, and then it goes to Facebook, and then it goes to X, and then it goes to YouTube. And so what I'm sharing with you guys is that social media used to be like, oh yeah, it'd be really cool to have social media. It'd be really cool. Now it literally is the algorithm, okay? It is literally the algorithm. And so think about AI and how it's making recommendations where it literally goes out and it's looking for data. And the more data that you have on your practice, meaning more posts, more consistency, more places, it's going to have more opportunities to recommend you. And here's the thing, right? Like Len, we're both general dentists, right? Let's just say there's a specialist who is a great endodontist, okay? And so we establish a relationship with him. Patients are always happy, always predictable results. What happens? We're going to keep recommending that endodontist. A new endodontist comes to town and wants to get our attention, and we're like, we'd love to be able to help you, but like we already have trust established with, Dr. Smith. That's how it works as well. And so once it starts recommending you, it's going to just keep recommending you, which is why the people that are on now and taking action now, they are going to be recommended at the highest point for years on. And this happened not just with ChatGPT. In our lifetime, Len, I know we're around the same age. When I started my website, I was probably the first person to make a website in Birmingham, Alabama. Why? Because a friend's sister who was in college said, make a website. I'm like, what is a website, right? I did the website. 8 years later, I was number one. When Facebook came out, I remember I was like, oh my gosh, I remember what happened with my website. I started figuring out, testing, trying things, figuring it out. Facebook started looking at ads, tinkering in. Again, a year later, you remember, we've known each other a long time, 50,000 followers, 50 patients a month. I started teaching Facebook marketing, as you know. 2 years, 3 years later, I was teaching exactly what I was doing. I wasn't holding anything back. The local dentists in my community, some of them were taking my course. They could never catch up. They could never, because I had so much content and I was first. And so guys, I want you to understand this, because how do we get recommended? The algorithm is not only we're posting to get patients, we're literally training the algorithms. And there are different releases, right? So ChatGPT 5 just launched. Right now, ChatGPT 6 is literally in a knowledge training period. Claude is going through Claude 3, right? And so you want to be able to get in when you have these training opportunities where the knowledge base is being built. And this is how we're doing it. That's ChatGPT. So let's talk a little bit about Google and Google AI, right? So a lot of people don't know, at the very top toolbar, there's a new menu, right? So there's a Google AI. We're talking about that right before. You're looking at my Google AI bio, but there's Google AI, right? And there's a regular search. And then there's what? Short form videos, okay? So another update that happened, this happened in July, massive update with Google and the algorithm. What happened is that in July, the algorithm changed where now Google is now indexing Instagram, specifically Instagram. Instagram content is now searchable, okay? So what that means is every time we're posting content specifically to Instagram, the content, the words that go with your photos or your videos, now they're searchable. The location, all of the information. So how we're writing the copy is significant. Guys, this is significant. Again, the whole purpose of this podcast is like SEO and how it's changed. Because if you think about a website, guys, most times we're not posting to our website or changing our website 16 times or even one time. Maybe, right, if you're really focused on it, you have a team that's writing blog posts and articles for you to help you with your SEO. This is a huge opportunity, because if now you're putting content out, what we're seeing, this is crazy, Len, like I am honestly a little bit shocked, but we're both testers. We both test things in marketing, right? The doctors that started with us, we started the agency almost 3 years ago now, which is crazy. But the doctors that started earlier with us in Digital Floss, and then we started putting content out on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and LinkedIn and X and Twitter and Google, like literally posting to Google. Number one, they're flooding, now that it says Google or short form videos, they're flooding it. They're the ones that are there. They're number one on Google AI, right? And most of them, or many of them, which is crazy, is that they're very top of Google. And if they're not, what I'm seeing, again, I'm looking at it, I'm testing it, is a couple things are happening. Or what will help them or what will harm them. Number one, reviews. And by the way, guys, Bird Eye, there's different ways to get reviews. Bird Eye is the company that you want to work with, okay? So they are going to help you to be able to get that high status, okay? The other thing that we see is that when we go to websites, a lot of times people's websites have not been changed. There's no FAQs, no frequently asked questions. You have to have FAQs because that's how people are searching now when they're on ChatGPT. Find me a dentist that went to the University of Kentucky. So find me a dentist that speaks Spanish. So FAQs, do you speak Spanish? Yes, in our practice, we speak Spanish, right? Because people are asking the question, right? So I see they don't have FAQs. So when we see our own clients that are not top of Google, these are the things that I'm seeing. So I'm analyzing it, and no FAQs, Google reviews are not there. And so it's this trifecta. Again, if we have amazing content specifically on Instagram, all content platforms for ChatGPT, it's going to dominate with your SEO. A lot of people are paying, and this is interesting, Len, like I'm not trying to throw stones or rocks, but like we're dentists first, okay? Yes, we're podcasters and speakers and all that, but ultimately that's why we do the work we do. We could be doing this in any industry and we're here working with dentists. Why? Because this is who we are, right? This is our people, right? But what happens is, a lot of times when we look at SEO, people are paying $1,200, $1,400 a month, I'm hearing, when I'm talking to doctors for SEO, right? And the reality is that no articles are being written, things are not being done. I remember Abby, who's one of my copywriters, she's been writing for me for 7 years. When I first hired Abby, she was writing copy for me for my coaching program and my Facebook courses. I pay her $10,000 to write 10 emails. Like, that's the real. Okay, she's really good. She's now writing for our doctors, right? And so the interesting thing is because of AI, now she can have a call with the doctor and she can take 70% of that, write it with her own skill, expertise, and humanness, and now it can take her a day instead of 5 days. And so why am I saying that? Because we have to start looking at all of our marketing. We have to start thinking about, does it make sense now do we have to spend $1,200 now for SEO? Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Maybe it's posting content on Instagram. Maybe it's making sure that content is uploaded to Google. Also, what we see is when content is posted straight to Google, uploading videos, uploading photos, feeding Google, literally. What happens is that when you're running Google ads, right? You're running Google ads, what we see is that Google is seeing that you're an authority. Again, if you got your reviews and you now have really good content, right? And you're posting consistently, your reviews are being responded to. One of the things we do in our agency is I have one of my team members who's been working with me for 6 years with delivering while she was doing client support. She's amazing at communicating and having a human touch. She responds literally, that's her only job all day long is to respond to reviews. Right? So having reviews responded to, like, as they come in is really important. And so as we start to see this, and all of a sudden, again, that's how we are really looking at how do we evaluate our marketing. But we see that the ad costs are going down, cost per click on Google ads when Google is giving you, again, putting you as that authority by having the Google reviews, posting to Google, and having that consistent content. So. Yeah.
So let me get some questions in here because you just spoke for like.
I'm a speaker like you. I can talk.
You spoke for like 15 minutes. So you got to give me a time to get in there. You got to take a breath every second. So, I want to talk about Google Ads for a second because they got a lot of questions right now.
Yeah.
So why do you think Google AdWords are so expensive right now? And do you think they're still worth it to some extent?
Yeah.
And I asked you this before we discussed it. I know a lot of dentists, or I have a lot of agencies that are doing branded AdWords. So when someone searches the name of the business, the AdWord shows up, which I think is a waste of money. So I wanted your opinion on that. So why are they getting expensive? Number one, is it still worth it for dentists to do? Number two, and what do you think about branded ads?
Okay, so number one, does it still make sense to run Google ads? Yes, it does. Why? Because people are still using Google, right? So as long as people are still using Google, yes, let's run some ads. People are literally searching today, right? So that makes sense. Just be aware of why they cost what they cost, right? So if you're working with an agency and they say, I need $3,000 for Google for their ad spend, because typically you're looking at about $130 a lead. So if you want to have, 10 new patients, and let's just say half of the leads come in as new patients, you do the simple math and figure out how much you have to spend, right? So that's one thing that you have to be aware of, right? These branded ads, I don't think so. That is a complete waste of time, right? So definitely going into, the keywords for the things that you want people to search for makes a lot of sense. And again, like, why are they costing so much? Because people are migrating to other search engines, right? And so how do we mitigate that? Number one, again, if we're posting content directly to Google, getting into Google search results at the very top is possible, right? So focusing on organic, because Google rewards you. If you're going in and you're posting literally to Google, you're going to have that ability to get to the very top, right? The other thing that a lot of people are not aware of is the power of meta ads, okay? So meta ads, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, lead ads, right? So we are running ads, meta ads. Again, we have videos that we put out on Instagram specifically, right? So for $400, guys, for $400, you're able to get 40 to 60,000 people to see you doing a video talking about your all-on-4, or talking about airway, or hearing a patient talk about their incredible experience with you. You can literally have 1 million people learn about your business for $400 a month. Like, that's kind of insane, right? That's a huge opportunity. The other thing is that you could look at running lead ads, right? So we are running lead ads, and the lead ads are going to a funnel, right? A funnel that is not a website, that's not going to affect your SEO or site speed, that has one action, which is to request an appointment. And we're getting leads for as low as $5 sometimes $80, but on an average about $30 a lead, right? Which is insane. And they're pre-qualified because they first gone to a video where the doctor's talking about it takes integrity. What if we built a practice on putting the team first? And the team members are like, I never worked for a doctor like this. So hopefully that's helpful. Yeah, I could go on. I could go on for days and days.
So we hear dentists are saying, hey, I'm getting leads, but they're not the right leads. They're not the right patients. I had a guy yesterday I was talking to. He told me that every patient that he calls, it calls their Medicaid patients. They're not a good fit for what he has, and he doesn't have anything that's, he has negative keywords that show up that prevent those from being seen by those types of patients. Yeah. So how do you think practices can increase lead quality? Yeah. And then obviously by increasing lead quality also reduce the spend, because every time somebody's clicking on it, you're paying for an ad that not helping them at all.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm seeing. So number one, when we're running the meta ads, the ads to the videos, okay? So again, Instagram Reels. Why? I mean, that's where people are hanging out. They're watching Reels, right? So what we do is we do geo-fencing. What is geo-fencing? So geo-fencing is, I want people on this street or this street or this street. Like, we both live here. I mean, you're almost in Fort Lauderdale. So like, let's just say, we're in downtown Fort Lauderdale, right? So there's Las Olas Isles where there's $10, $20 million homes, and in the same zip code right across the railroad tracks, right, there's neighborhoods that's not, like, complete opposite demographic, right? So it's not necessarily a geofencing or a targeting of people that are in a zip code, but what we do is we're like, tell us the exact streets and the mile radius of that street, so that when they open up their phone, they're going to see it. So you can be more specific about who actually sees it, right? You can also be specific. Like, we've got a doctor who's in New Jersey, and Colgate is nearby, and Colgate has, from what I understand, unlimited access to dental benefits for their employees. We're literally geo-fencing Colgate. Why? Because we want their employees to see the videos and decide to go to the office, because there's no limit on how much the insurance is going to spend, right? So that's one thing. The other thing too is that, again, once we have the videos going to a funnel, right, then now what happens is that, like, it's seeing that video and seeing the doctor, and he's like, we've been in this community for 20 years. And the patient's like, we've been coming here, and like, or a patient saying, I asked maybe all-on-4. I went to 3 places and they said I didn't have enough bone. And then I came here, and then all of a sudden they were able to give us different solutions, and they literally changed my life. That type of video will convert somebody who is in their head, like, let me just find somebody who's going to be cheap, and see that and be like, you know what? I have to go there, I'm not going anywhere else. If I have to pay out of my pocket, I can. And that's why this video is so important, because the video drives emotion. And so if you are able to take a funnel, like we build funnels for social media, we can run Google ads to the funnel. We can run Meta ads to the funnel. And by doing that, some people come to us and they're like, it's not that I want more new patients. I want to change the quality of our patients. And so that's why this marketing is very impactful.
Got it. I know you talked in the beginning, you mentioned the sites that you were posting on, all the social sites. Specifically, if someone says, okay, I got to put content out there that the AI is going to scan and then obviously use to make recommendations or answer the questions that are being asked of it, what platforms do you think are most important?
Yeah, all of them.
Well, that's...
I mean, that's no, the truth. The truth is that, like, all right, let's just say this, Lynn. You have content on 3 platforms. Okay, and you're posting once a month. I have content on 7 platforms, and I'm posting 4 times a week on all platforms. I have content written by a copywriter. Like, who are they going to recommend? Like, it's, you understand what I'm saying? So for us, the platforms that we post on, I'll just say specifically Digital Floss, what we've decided to post on is Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and Google, and also TikTok, right? So all the platforms. Also, they're different demographics. People that are on LinkedIn are probably professionals. They're CEOs. These are probably the people that you want to target. Maybe, just maybe. People that are on X typically are tech people, entrepreneurs. They shop at Whole Foods and they drive a Tesla. Like maybe, just maybe, right? So it's really impactful to think about, again, how do we get seen? Also, another thing that doctors are not aware of, Lynn, I'm going to say this is really important, is a lot of people know, hopefully, to claim their Google profile. So they claim their Google profile, they have the updated hours, but a lot of people are not aware of the importance of also claiming their Bing and their Apple Business Connect. Okay, so Bing, by the way, Bing is actually the platform that is used with Alexa. They're connected with Alexa, and Microsoft owns Bing, Microsoft owns LinkedIn, and Microsoft has been a major investor in OpenAI. And so interestingly, what we see is in terms of indexing, that Bing is actually right now, obviously things keep changing, but indexed a little bit higher than Google. And so going in and claiming, which literally, guys, is free. Like, go and claim your Google, you have that already. Go and claim your Bing. And then also Apple Business Connect. Why? Because Apple is literally where you can dictate what's on your profile when people are on iPhones and doing searches through Siri.
That makes sense. That's really good information. So I know you mentioned Google reviews.
Yeah.
And how important they are.
Yep.
How is the AI, are they looking at a total number? Are they looking at specific things in the reviews? What specifically that do you think they're looking at, and when it comes to using the reviews as a way to have the AI scan the reviews and talk about it when they ask about a specific
I could tell
practice or dentist?
Yeah, we've been doing some research on that. So with the reviews, the reviews saying, oh, I have a good dentist, or I found a good dentist, he was really nice, is not as impactful as, again, I'm somebody searching for, I'm looking for a dentist who was really kind, who was an expert in X and Y and Z, right? So the more detailed a review is in terms of giving information of what people are searching for is going to be impactful. Also, the number of reviews as well is very impactful, right? Because if you, it's the relevancy, it's the significance. It's the same as what I was sharing before in terms of what Google's looking at. If you are consistently posting, if you're responding to reviews, it shows that you are a business that people can trust, right? So that part is very, very significant, the number. Yeah.
Number of reviews. Okay. All right. That's good. That's good. So let's talk about the direction that you see the future for dental practices. There are so many ways to market your practice. You have a website, you do SEO, you have reviews, you have Google AdWords, you post on social, you boost those posts. Someone tries all these things and they're seeing limited results. where do you see, and I've been asking this a lot today, where do you see the next couple of years looking like? And if you had to like have a crystal ball and look pretty far into the future, where do you see the future of dental marketing going?
I'll tell you what I see working right now, okay? And it's also the future, right? So number one, starting with showing up as your authentic self, right? Because that's what drives people to build connection. That's what drives people to be able to talk about you and to be able to come in whether you're fee for service or not. That starts with video, okay? So again, whether it's Digital Floss, you get somebody local, right? Having that video content is really important. Also, how do we get it seen? That's what marketing is, okay? So we want to make sure it's on all platforms. Why? So that you can get picked up on all search engines. We also want to make sure that your website has that content. It doesn't mean you have to do a new website. Take the content, put it on your website, take out the stock content. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. I think the problem, Lynn, is a lot of people get stuck. Look, we're dentists, we get it. We don't have time. You know, we're trying to see patients, we're trying to run a business, we got kids at home, like all of the things. That's why we don't do it, okay? Because it's hard to do it ourselves, right? And so I think it means that us is like those of us that are agencies, we have to level up and we have to take it off of the plate of the doctors so that they don't have to think about it, right? And so for me, when I talk to our practice owners, I'm like, think about us like you think about your insurance coordinator or your treatment plan coordinator, right? Like that's their job. It's not your job. So when people come to me like, well, when you do the videos, are we going to have to post them? I'm like, no, that's our job. Are we going to have to run ads? No, that's our job. Are we going to have to respond to reviews? No, that's our job. What about Apple Business Connect? No, we do that too, right? And don't worry about it. I will work with your website company. If you don't have a website company, I got one. We'll build your website for you. Like I have a partner. We can get that done for you. What else can I do to take it off of your plate? You want to run ads? We're going to run ads for you. We're going to do SEO for you, right? So I think it's really incumbent upon the agencies to go into stop the approach of, well, we don't do that, they do that, right? We don't do that, that's not us, right? And so I think it's really important. And like certain things are really simple, like go get Bird Eye. Okay, that checks that off the plate. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You got a website, let's go update the photos. We'll connect with them. All right, now that's taken care of. What's next? Google ads, cool. We'll run your Google ads. Or you've got somebody already running Google ads, great. Let them keep doing that, but like I will talk to them and give them the funnel. So like we've got to, like as agencies, which is why I'm partnering with all of these agencies, because a lot of them don't have the infrastructure to create video content. They don't have the infrastructure to be able to post on social media. That's why we're doing this beautiful collaboration, right? So I think the future of marketing, hopefully, is that the agencies will actually like level up in a sense, and that way doctors can get the result, because this disjointed marketing, if they only think about reviews, Len, honestly, it's not going to cut it. Like if they just think about a website, or if they just do social and a website looks like the dollar store. That's why me as an agency owner, I had to start looking at websites. And so one of the things that we're doing, I'll just leave this, is we are now, which is really impactful. So we talk about AI agents, AI bots. So we actually literally built out an AI agent. And what it does is it goes in and it scans you as a practice. It scans all of your competitors. And it looks at website, it looks at Google reviews, it looks at are you present in the AI search engines, it looks at, and then it looks at your competitors. And it gives you a grade, and then it gives you a specific list, like you need to do this on your website, do this on your website, do this, do this, do this. And so now there's actually not a lot of guesswork of like, what's going on? Why is this not working? And it literally gives a step-by-step blueprint of what to do. And so, I know, we could certainly charge for that. We don't. Like, we're just like, how can I help and give you the information? And so that's one of the things that we're doing now, is we're doing these full comprehensive competitive marketing audits, visibility audits, if you will. And that way you have the roadmap that needs to be done. So yeah, our website's Digital Floss. If that is something that you're interested in, you can go and provide your information. What's really cool is now we have like your name and we can find it, because it can crawl and get your social media accounts. Like we don't even need much data to be able to pull the report, which is really cool.
So how can people find out more about everything that Digital Floss does? You want to give your contact information, and then we can wrap things up?
Yeah, super easy. Again, digitalfloss.com is our website. that's the best place, honestly. And once going in there, we can do the visibility audit. We can look at your social and just share how we can help.
Perfect. And this was really good information. I appreciate it. If you are listening to this and you heard some things that kind of intrigued you, please feel free to reach out to Anissa. If you're coming to Supercharge, I know that she's going to be speaking on this as well, so you can learn a little bit more about that then. As always, remember my sponsors, give them support, Dental Intelligence, CallRail, and Net32, and I appreciate their support as I come to you every single week. Anissa, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk to everyone soon.
Thank you.